that drew me in at a very personal level, and the program itself was great. You gave us this fundamental basis, and I had no idea that whatever I thought I knew about AI was completely irrelevant.
It's in how everything is built and how products are built, how we work, right? I just had the skill to adapt to change and think of the new ways to use this.
It gave me a vocabulary that has now put me in a position that far exceeds most of my competitive set in product marketing, because I can talk to engineers that are actively working in AI spaces with confidence.
Welcome to another episode of AI's Product Leader. Every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with real AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the AI world is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or a career in AI. I'm your host, Polly Allen. I'm the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product leaders navigate the world of AI and transition into AI leadership roles. And I've spent my career in both the product management and software development sides of the fence. I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager, where I launched the very first generative AI answers on Alexa. And I'm super glad to have our guest joining us today. Jennifer Deal is a powerhouse AI product leader who's been shaping the future of e-commerce, fintech, and martech for over a decade. From building billion-dollar marketplaces at eBay to unlocking $42 million in revenue through bold, data-driven innovation, she blends marketing magic with product strategy and tech execution. Jennifer thrives at the intersection of customer obsession and enterprise transformation, turning insights into adoption and disruption into loyalty. Today, she's driving marketplace growth and seller success at Temu while helping teams launch products that customers can't stop talking about. And we're going to dive into AI enablement for sellers and marketplaces today. I'm super excited to dive into it. Thanks so much for joining us, Jen. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, thanks, Polly. I'm excited to be here. And if I didn't know myself, I think that was an amazing person to talk to. I'm like, who did
I do know you, and I do think you're an amazing person. So
I'm actually blushing. I'm flattered.
yeah.
Thanks. It's good.
No worries. No, I'm excited because you do have this long-standing and storied background. You have lots of great stories from your times at early days at places like eBay and stuff in marketing, sales success, marketing communications. And then it's so cool to see someone with that background transitioning into not just using AI tools, but even like prototyping and building tools yourself. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm super excited to dive into it. So before you got into the AI space, I'd love to just talk a little bit about your background. Maybe we can even hear some of those stories I know you have from the olden days at some of these scions of e-commerce.
Yeah, I feel like we just made PowerPoint archaic because I use, storyboarding, and I think we went from markers to PowerPoint to just
Right.
straight up AI, and let me just build you what I'm talking about. That's
Right.
what I can do now. That's crazy
That's
to
amazing,
me.
right? The superpowers that of
The
marketers get.
superpowers. Yeah, I found a superpower this year. My roles, as you heard, are non-technical. My degrees are non-technical. They're
Yeah.
thought-provoking degrees. They're economics and journalism. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
not even, nothing I build, just talk. I'm a talker.
You're a communicator. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very good at it. So you started with a background in journalism and communications. Where did you go from there?
Oh no. Oh, I don't have a yellow brick road path. I'm very much like run through the woods and figure out the trail kind of person.
Cool. Yeah.
And when it comes
I
to
know
the
a lot of people
career,
relate. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I actually had a life before eBay, and
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, I worked at DuPont, which became Invista. I
Yeah.
worked in advertising at advertising agencies. I worked in PR. And for the longest time, I'm like, I'm not even using my econ degree. But then I joined eBay and I started in advertising.
Okay. What was your
I'm
role at eBay?
Let's see. My first role was advertising manager. We launched
Yeah.
their second iteration and my first iteration there of the pay-per-click program. So what's now product ads. And the reason I say the second iteration for them, first iteration for me, is because I relaunched it a few years
Yeah.
later. So my first 2 years at eBay, I took that cradle to grave. We just were ready for it in terms of initiatives aligning. And
Right.
so, yeah, then I shifted to more of a merchandising business development role. We launched a new program, which back in the day, if you remember Groupon, our
Oh
version
yes.
of that, yeah, our
Are they
version of
still
that.
around?
I think they are.
I
Yeah.
think they
I
are,
just looked
totally.
at, but they don't have the same business model because
Oh, okay.
I have been thinking about this business, the old school business model, and thinking about bringing it back because
Yeah.
they used to require that you had a critical mass before you unlocked the deal. That's what made it
Yes.
viral
Right.
at the
Yeah,
time.
totally.
Yeah. And now it's just like pages of deals, right? And so we started eBay Deals, and with my last name being Deal, it was very fun.
That's awesome. I love it.
I'm still looking for the royalties on that
That's
eBay,
right.
but
It's kind of how AWS started Polly, and I was like, guys, really?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so I worked on merchandising for a while and business development, like building up that program.
Yeah.
Went back to a BU, or the business side of the house, and then went into seller scaling team. And
Hmm.
so there I was growing seller businesses through different programs. I relaunched product ads, and I had other programs, affiliate programs, managed account, like a white glove program for managed account, onboarding improvements, things like that. I
Yeah.
mean, my whole history there, again, it's varied, multiple departments. From there, I
Ah.
went into marketing. I started on the buy side. This is when eBay wanted to do their own ads again. So I worked as the retail marketing manager. And then
Hmm.
I shifted to the seller side and did seller marketing, all
That's when
product
that's
marketing.
when you did the podcast. You mentioned you had
Yeah,
an
I
eBay
did
podcast.
podcasts and Facebook Lives when they had or I guess they still have them, but we used to
They
do
do.
them. And I had my own segment as a recurring where I gave trends. So I also became a generational trend expert in that time because I had to teach people how to know their buyers, and that segued into what to sell and
Yeah.
when to sell. And yeah,
Oh,
there's a lot to think about sometimes when
for
you're
sure.
in an ecosystem like that. Let's see, after that, I shifted over to payments. So I have a couple specialties in the marketplace space. I work on shipping logistics. I supported
Mm.
shipping when I was there. And let me tell you, when you have to work on shipping while you're in COVID, that is an accelerator to
Extreme
how much.
version,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah.
extroversion.
The deepest kind. And then I also focus on payment. So I shifted from the actual North America marketing team to a global team and managed payments. And I did a migration for rest of world, so 100 plus countries, trying to get them onto a new platform. And I also did buy side for
Yeah.
payments. So then
Yeah.
marketing that we have credit cards, yay, on eBay and things like that. But we were
That was the
super,
voice you used in your marketing. I can tell.
yeah.
We have credit
We have credit cards. Welcome to 2023 or 2021, whenever it was. Well, because PayPal was our
cards.
primary
Yeah, of
form of
course.
payment
Yeah.
forever. And then
Yeah.
we opened it up to all kinds of things. So there were a lot of product launches behind that. And then, reorgs happen all the time. So I
Mm.
found my global team back into the product marketing space, and I worked on optimizing onboarding again for sellers and sort of rinse and repeat of like, how do we make this better? Technology is different.
Yeah.
Customers are different. Sellers have more going on. The internet is different. Behaviors online, or you just
Totally.
constantly have to look at your business from that perspective.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. And so we'll jump back to how you decided to, as a marketing professional, a lot of people in that space don't feel equipped to take on learning beyond using AI tools. And you've actually gone deeper into like, how do I build this? And we'll talk about how you got curious about that. But I wanted to jump to a little bit about what you're doing today. So today you work at Temu, again, on the seller marketplace development side. Can you tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about how AI is impacting those sellers?
Yes. Okay. It'll be two different conversations a little bit on that. I am at Timu and I work essentially, well, let me give you actually the background of Timu because it is a
Yeah.
household name. But the one thing people don't realize is that it is a massive startup. And I actually used to say this about eBay. I'm like, eBay is like a 27-year-old startup. More in how they go about business and empowering teams. That Timu truly is a startup. It is 3 years old.
Yeah.
And, they were super aggressive coming into the US market 3 years ago. We had a Super Bowl ad, if you remember, Shop Like a Billionaire. It is still the value proposition for buyers, but
Mm.
it's massive. And, to have a 20+ billion-dollar entity figuring it out,
Right.
it's
That much motion in kind of chaotic motion.
A little bit, a little bit. So there's always trade-offs and patience that have to go with every day's agenda, especially now when I'm working with a lot of sellers I worked with previously. And you think about the growth of sellers on marketplaces, there's so many places. There's Walmart, there's Amazon, there's Etsy, Temu, Shein, TikTok shops, whatnot, get into Poshmark. Like there's so many. And then that's not even considering where marketplaces live in their own,
Right.
like Pinterest and DoorDash. And like, those are technically all marketplaces as well.
Yeah,
So you think about
totally.
that world at that scale, and there's a rhythm to all of those things and how they work. So they're not
Yeah.
all very different, but every marketplace has their strengths and weaknesses. And that's a lot of, me working with sellers and how to groom that for success on this platform. It's different. It's just different. It's not rinse and repeat. It's not the days of yore when, you can put a
Yeah.
deal up and sell 1,000 a day. It's
Right. It's more
it's very
competitive.
fragmented.
Yeah, totally. And not a lot of like this, there's not just systems to put in place and be like, execute this system and it'll work
Right, right.
forever.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely no forever.
Yeah.
There's
Or even
definitely
long
no
term.
forever. I
Yeah.
learned that so long ago. I had a CFO that said, we run a quarter to quarter business. Think of everything as the start and stop that way. That
Yeah.
has never left me
Yeah.
because
And
he's
I've heard
not
this
wrong.
even faster now. Like with AI, there's big companies now. They're like, we used to do annual planning, we do quarterly planning. When we used to do quarterly planning, we do monthly planning because
Yeah.
things change too
Oh,
quickly.
yeah. I mean, I'm excited to tell you about my experience there because it's a little bit of it's not quite a love hate, but it is similar to working in a startup. It's like you go in eyes wide open
Yeah.
and know that what you see today is not going to be there tomorrow. So
Right. Yeah. Don't fall in love with anything too much. But that was
that's
for today.
right. That's right. Even more so true today than ever
You're
before.
in you're in the business of like empowering and enabling sellers on these marketplaces to sell more. And then I know you'd also talked about AI is something that you've worked with some small sellers on, like how to enable them to sell more. I'd love to hear more about what's working out there with
Yeah,
small sellers.
absolutely. I know that going through your program in class discussions and workshops, we talked a lot about what's leadership thinking about? Where did they start? Do they know? And when you think about an entrepreneur, especially, and small business isn't necessarily tiny, if you're thinking about anything sub 15 million, it's a small to medium business.
Yeah.
And that owner, an entrepreneur, have so many things to think about. And I think
Hmm.
the hardest thing is where do I start? Like, what is it that is going to be the most useful and helpful in my
Yes,
business today? And I
absolutely.
think, the advice that I've given is actually think smaller than what you were going to apply to your business. You read a news article in the New York Times or something, and they're like, you can use XYZ to run your operations. Don't do that. Don't start smaller, like really understand the
Yeah.
efficiencies that, like any other exercise, the efficiencies you need, the ROI from that, how
Yeah.
long it's going to take to get it, and whether it's worth the investment or not. The most places where I hear, especially on the soft skill side of the house, where I hear people are worried and or need to know AI is things like, how do I write marketing copy? How do I run HR? How do I,
Yeah.
you
And can
know,
I delegate this wholesale? Like, can I actually, all this agentic talk about like, can I hire an AI employee who can do this? Is it cheap? Is it free? Is it better than hiring a human?
yeah, exactly. And I think the answer is different for all of those things. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and it has been eye-opening in my, 6 months of learning the superpower to recognize that whatever it is I'm thinking at a
Yeah.
granular level already, especially as a product manager, you're putting a PRD together and you're writing out exactly how you want things and you're envisioning that. And what I have learned with AI is take that even deeper. Think about
Mm,
it even more. It
yeah.
is a very literal system, and you need to wear two different hats. You need to be a thought leader that can see into the future a little bit and say, this is what
Yeah.
I want to get to. But then you have to be realistic and say, this is what I can do
Right.
today. And then start to build from there, because where you get stuck is surprisingly can be surprisingly challenging in the most
Yeah.
crazy ways, like in details. And so for the business owner, that's why you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, because you
Absolutely.
really need to understand this. I mean, I know, like, my takeaway is, as a AI leader, first and foremost, recognize the pace of change and
Mm,
earnestly learn the fundamentals, because in the last 6 months I have benefited, and also probably others out there have felt a little bit of pain from the pace of change that comes with an AI, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely.
think I really answered your question, but maybe I'll come back to it again,
Yeah,
because
no worries. Exactly. I'd love to hear you. I know you decided you were like, I really need to get my arms around AI at a deeper level, not just using the tools? What got you curious about
Yeah.
going deeper in AI?
Right. So I was going to say this might be helpful in context, like why I'm speaking this
Yeah.
way. I was already a more than casual user of Gen AI. I named my friends. I had
Yeah.
Gem, just Gemini. I had Chad, just Chat GPT, Claude's
Yeah.
Claude.
That's something with
You know,
that.
Lexi
Yeah.
was Perplexity. We speak no more, and
Nice.
that's too bad. But we're out of touch now. And I lots of reasons why. I had various Q&A situations that I was just running through them as if they were a search program.
Yeah.
I used them a lot for
Yeah.
greeting card sentiments and haikus.
Okay. That's great. I love that. Actually, that's a good use case.
Nothing deep was happening. We were very surface level,
Yeah.
frankly. And then, how I got into your program and how I got into my discovering my superpowers is that I had a chance in between roles to consider how to augment my skills. And I started hearing
Yeah.
about vibe coding, which became a buzzword back in February of this year. It's like not long ago,
Yeah.
this year. I looked at different
Exactly.
programs, and so many at the time were focused on enhancing your technical skills. I don't have any. So it's like, that's not useful. um, but then when I came across AI Career Boost and there was Polly coming from a marketplace, I'm like, she might at least have a vocabulary I understand.
Mm,
you
gotcha.
know,
Yeah, totally.
So that drew me in
Yeah.
just, at a very personal level. And the program itself was great. You gave us this fundamental basis. And I had no idea that whatever I thought I knew about AI was completely irrelevant by that point. Not completely, but it was like a touch of ice, one ice cube on the top of an iceberg is what it felt like. And I know
Right.
that sounds
A lot of people
overwhelming.
empathize with that. It's just in that it feels so overwhelming, right? When
It
you
feels so overwhelming, but amazingly, then you get into and I'm a hands-on learner. So you get into what it is that
Mhm.
you can do. And my takeaway, oh my God, so much and not enough at the same time. In this, in the span of 6 months, I have now vibe coded my way into building a storytelling app for autistic children.
Mhm. With
Um, a-
voice enabled too.
with voice enabled first. Yes. Oh, that
Yeah.
was
That was not an easy project. I knew you came in hot to the program and you're like, I want all the tools, all the things, but you were taking on some big challenges.
Yes, and actually that is one project where I didn't realize technology wasn't keeping up with me. I learned that I
Mhm.
actually had
Yeah.
to wait 1 to 2 weeks and then look at all the updates, and then I could apply and progress in the app building. Watching demos
Yeah.
yesterday, I realized, oh, there's even more enhancements out there. Everyone's just like whipping out these things that I was trying to do 6 months ago.
That were so hard 6 months ago. I know it's so
It's so
tough sometimes
hard.
because you're like, people will get frustrated doing something. You're like, just wait. Like you said, wait a couple weeks.
A
There's a
couple
new
weeks.
release. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's like it's mind-boggling how fast the pace of change is because that can also dismantle you.
Yeah.
If you have really put some time into things and you fell in love with it,
Right.
it's going to be
Yeah,
obliterated
absolutely.
and and you're starting over, which
Yeah.
good or bad because it goes
Yeah.
fast, there's that. Let's
You
see,
were
what else did
able
I
to successfully vibe code that project, which was a storytelling app, which I love. It's very cute.
Yes,
It's
the
a
story.
fantastic demo just to see
Thank
people
you.
working with it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I might have to bring in a bigger user base, a user testing base for that because I want to
Yeah,
see like how much more can we do with this now that technology's out there.
right.
Yeah, I've done some other thing. I did a scheduling system for substitute teachers.
Oh, so needed.
Yeah, I've created a personal work translator who knows my company culture and helps me with bilingual translations.
Oh, especially like a multicultural place like Timu, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I don't want to, the thing that I've stepped away from very quickly was formalized prompts. They're not
Mm,
necessary in most of the things that I do. So this is why I've
yeah.
created this is why I have so many friends with names because I'm like, your persona and how we work together is X. And he knows all my background for that topic. And then you can
Yeah.
create a project within it and that focus is there. So I don't have to constantly say, I work at Temu, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just like, here's what's happening right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just skip right to the project. We're doing this one task. You have all the context on it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so that's awesome. Let's see.
Yeah.
I've done a supplemental therapist type of program. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sure my therapist loves me going, hey, these are the latest notes.
Actually, actually, I heard. They must get a lot of that these days compared to
Well,
usual.
it's really funny
Yeah.
because I use Otter as my note taker and it shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
So it'll show up to therapy before I do, and they'll have a conversation and I'll
Like, I'm gonna delegate therapy. Let's see if how that works.
yeah, it's funny. So I'm glad my therapist is open to these random things that I come across. Let's see. I've done an e-commerce seller shipping app for the first time seller. So GPT that just
Yeah.
you literally say, this is what I'm selling, and it'll tell you the
Yeah.
estimated shipping cost and how to package it
For
because
first time
that's
seller.
yeah,
That
because they, a lot of that's a big barrier for people is they're like, I don't know how to ship a bottle of lotion. Can I even do that? So I created
yeah.
that. That was actually one of my first projects in your class. Let's see, I've built travel
Yeah.
programs and had them merge into my Google Calendar. My Otter is more than just a note taker; it's a personal assistant. I mean, I love the way it gives me tasks
Right.
and fills up that. One of my GPTs is an art teacher for me. So I mean,
Amazing.
yeah, there's it's all over the place. Oh, I have
Exactly,
one.
and that's been my impression since I met you, Jen. You're just always just like, "Okay, I'm gonna build another thing and another thing and another thing," but they're all useful. Like, they're all these things that you're like, whether it's useful for me or useful for others, like,
Oh yeah,
they're very, like, practical applications that are
super
just
practical. And I
valuable.
know people are out there building apps that actually will do these things. I guess because I'm a vibe coder and impatient and this is like my new search. I don't even know if I Google anymore. I basically go into a chat. Like I have another project where I have a friend who has very specific and particular tastes about food, and is counting
Yeah.
macros. And so I have a project specifically to I need to take this recipe and turn it into whatever he can eat. So
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's translate this for his dietary
XY
needs.
meal, right? And and
Yeah.
then and I knows that for everything we discuss, you need to spit out all these macros for me so I can plug them in because now I'm customizing recipes. I think
Yeah.
we've had 2 or 3 people do something like that through the
Yeah.
courses I've seen since I've been on this.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely been people love the everyone can relate to demos about the food and the like the overhead of kind of like there's
Yeah,
the shopping lists and then there's like what can and can't I eat and a whole family with different needs, things like that. So it's definitely something that like everyone
right.
can relate to it, but also everyone can actually be like, I can build something I can use.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I just remembered one. I built my own house shopping comparison.
Because you're just house
uh
shopping.
yes, because I was house shopping and like the apps all have like compare this, compare that. I'm like, no, but I want to compare my filters, my trade-offs. And so
Hmm.
I woke up one day and
Yeah.
was like, done.
Incredible. And I think like that really is what's so cool. It's the future is that we are actually all able to just quickly build these apps for our own usage that are
Yeah.
tailored to exactly what we're looking for. So empowering.
Yes.
It's
Have
such a
you? Yes.
transformation, Jen. It's crazy to see how far you've come in just such a short amount of time.
I know. It's like I was gonna say, have you seen that movie Limitless? Old one.
Oh, I don't
It was
think so.
also a TV series, but the movie had Bradley Cooper, and he would take this tablet and it would like open all areas of his brain. He could write like a novel in an evening kind of thing. That's what it feels like to be on AI
Yeah.
as a vibe coder.
I love it. Here's your brain. Your brain on AI.
On AI.
Awesome. So many people with your background, Jen, find getting started with AI intimidating, like the idea of moving beyond just using ChatGPT or these tools. What is your advice to them for getting started? What first steps should they take?
I mean, I don't know, take the course. Take the course. Take the course. If you don't take the course, then recognize that whatever you know about AI is not even enough. Uh, you're not even there. You have not cracked the egg completely. Again, I think it's like earnestly learning the fundamentals. I early on, this gave
Hmm.
me especially as a product marketer, it gave me a vocabulary that
Yeah.
has now put me in a position that far exceeds most of my competitive set in product marketing because I can talk to engineers that
Mm.
are actively working in AI spaces with confidence. I can carry a conversation as a thought leader. And mind you, I just turned 51 last week. So it's not like you're too old to
You
figure
don't
this
want.
out,
No, that's true. I think there's a lot of people mid-career too who have that either been too far from technology for so long, they've delegated things, or they feel like it's left them behind, but it hasn't.
Right, but that's not the case. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say is if you whether you take a course or not, like learn what it is that AI is doing in the world at a fundamental level. Like you need to learn things like what hallucination is. How would you if you were even if you don't touch a vibe coding tool, how would you build something? What would you think about that you
Yeah.
need to put parameters around for an AI? And then like go to
Yeah.
your chat GPT and be like, help me think through these things and, help me learn. And it'll, like, I have an
Yeah.
art teacher, right? Like, just help me learn. These are things I want to learn. Start there as a basic and
Yeah.
figure out what the words are, because it's not just AI and
Yeah.
agentic and Gen AI, there's a whole world
Yeah.
behind it.
Totally.
And
Vocabulary. I
there,
love that idea.
yeah,
Engineering vocabulary can get you a long way.
a long way. Because by the way, the secret is not even the engineers are caught up. Just FYI. This is the most amazing thing
Absolutely.
about AI is we're all on an equal and level playing field, but for a short time.
Exactly. The engineers are moving very, very quickly, but yeah,
Very quickly. Yeah.
exactly.
Whether they want to or not, they
Exactly.
are forced to. And
Yeah,
I think,
forced to.
one of the things I miss, Polly, is I used to post this in the Slack, but it was AI in everyday life.
Oh, yes. Totally. We should bring
And
that back. We should see if
we
we
should
can.
bring that back, because
Exactly.
that is also an amazing reminder that AI is not just technology. Like in the movies, there's such debate about the AI actors and what they're doing and how they do it.
Yeah.
But, I had gone to a film fest, and the MIT winners, directors and producers that had used AI specifically were on stage talking about their projects. The guy that I found
Yeah.
most interesting was production, because he said the way we
Mm,
used to think about production was like stages. You can no longer do that in AI. You have to think of everything at once, and you have a much shorter time frame to do things. So even though the technology makes it look like magic, there's like things that still need to be tweaked or progress in technology to keep up with them, but also the way they have to think about building a film is so different. And I thought, I wonder where else that's happened in the world.
I love that. That's so true. It's in how everything is built and how products are built, how we work, right? That's it. People have the skill to like adapt to change and think of the new ways to use this. Getting hands on is that first step
Yeah,
to being able to think that new way that's going to be needed in the future.
exactly.
Yeah, incredible. Really great insight and advice today. We have time for one last section, and that is plugs. Jennifer, is there anything you'd like people to get in touch with you for? Any the things you'd like to plug on the show?
Well, I'm a talker. So, yes, of course. I would love to invite anyone to connect with me on LinkedIn, especially if you're a
Yeah.
marketplace seller and trying to understand how to incorporate AI into your business model. I have, a number of things that I started with helping SMBs do, and I'd love to tackle some
Mm.
larger businesses as well, and just create a think tank of how this applies to
Oh,
sellers
fantastic.
and in your
There's
business.
so much confusion out in the marketplace right now about how to handle integrating AI into selling. So I'm sure you'll have some people reach out. We'll include your LinkedIn in the show notes. So they can get a hold of you.
Okay.
Fantastic. Awesome. From my side, I'd love to plug. We have our new for 2026, our new AI masterclass is coming up. We always host a monthly masterclass about all of what's happening in AI in the marketplace for AI product builders. We do talk about the Blueprint program as part of that. If you're interested in joining, check us out at aicareerboost.com. Thanks again so much for joining, Jen. It's so inspiring to see your story and all the different things that you're building continuously. I know you're going to keep building. We'll probably have you back on to highlight some of the stuff you've built, because I know you're going to keep going. Thanks so much again for joining us, and
Thank
like
you.
having you on the show. Amazing.
It was
That's
great
another
to be here.
episode of AI Product Leader. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much.